Hi, so we're gonna try this again. It's about the 500th time I've tried to do a vlog for you guys. I tend to delete them all the time. You'd be so mad at me if you knew how many vlogs I've deleted. I'm pretty sure at least one vlog a day. At least one vlog a day. I think I realized that I have issues with my appearance, which I probably shouldn't have. It's just stupid things that people get and a lot of anxiety when it comes to being in front of the camera. And it wasn't a problem like a year ago. For some reason it is now. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I feel super chubby. I'm just gonna do this. Maybe that'll like maybe that'll get rid of my, like facing your fears, like if you're scared of like spiders or something, which are disgusting, by the way. And then like it's supposed to get over it if you just have a spider on you, which no, I don't. I want to make sure there's no spiders around me. But I was thinking like I feel like I'm really chubby, so like maybe if I just look like I'm super chubby, then it'll just get over it. So I'll just talk like this for the rest of it. Anyway, so I've been really excited about a game called Wildstar. If you guys are on my Twitter, you definitely know that that's something that I probably haven't shut up about since I heard about it. I'm super thrilled about it. I've been really looking forward to an MMO where I feel at home in, and I had that for a long time in World of Warcraft. I actually have been playing a little bit of World of Warcraft, but only because my husband invited me, and I don't get to play games, with him very often. I don't play League of Legends. He plays a lot of League of Legends, and we're just so used to the interface, and we know how to play it, we know the mechanics, and we just kind of do our own thing. Like, he's a tank and I'm a healer, and he just goes through, he does all the damage because tanks are broken right now, and he just can he does probably 90% of the damage that, everyone else does combined. I just heal him. And so we probably don't need anyone else in the dungeon with us, but we bring them along anyway. Anyway, so I'm not particularly enjoying the game itself, but I am enjoying playing with my husband. So it's all right. But I am waiting for Wildstar to come out. If you haven't heard of it yet, I don't know what their marketing is like right now, but only because I see it everywhere because I'm looking. So I know they just had a really nice big kind of blowout explosion party at PAX East this year. And I think they had a curse.com/Wildstar party. I don't know if you guys went or if anyone went to that. I was really jealous because I love the game. And the reason is, and I can pretty much recite everything that the devs have been telling everybody lately. I've watched so many videos, I read so many things. That's what happens when I get really involved in a game that's about to get created. I'm actually not really being on the forum. I'm not on the forums or anything. I probably would know more if I was, but I'm already refreshing my email every so often for beta, looking for a beta invite. I've been, probably watched one or two videos more than I should, just kind of stopping it and going oh, what's that in the background? It looks really cool. I'm just so obsessed sometimes. Anyway, so I'm really excited about it. It's essentially it's an MMO. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to just smack you guys with my foot. It's an MMO, and if you're not into MMOs, you probably are not interested whatsoever. But if you are into MMOs and you're the type of person like me who has pigtails, no, if you like MMOs, you can have pigtails too. I'm not going to judge you. It's fine. Just copy me, whatever. Anyway, so if you're into the MMOs and you're kind of looking for that game that you're not into World of Warcraft anymore, there's other games that you just haven't been playing, Guild Wars 2 is amazing. It's just their end game kind of stopped. They're always updating content every month, and it's still, for some reason, I can't find myself, bring myself to play it. I don't know why. I have no idea. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a really good game. There's just some things that just I don't connect with as far as wanting to be, that pigtail's really bothering me, wanting to be, to hang out in there. So, what I've been really thrilled about is it's not just a fantasy game. It's because there's a lot of shoot fireballs, it's fantasy dragons and stuff like that. But this is a fantasy/sci-fi game. So it's a lot oh, I almost fell down. I've got my feet propped up on my little heater. There we go. I'm a woman. I need a thigh heater apparently because it's springtime and it's still really cold out. Yeah. Anyway, so where was I? I get so distracted. I'm so sorry. It's almost 5 minutes in here and I haven't talked about anything yet. I don't even know why you guys watch this, but I'm making this. I swear, I'm not deleting it. I say that in every one that I do delete anyway. You just don't see them because I delete them. So it's a sci-fi slash fantasy game. So there is magic, but there's a lot of technology too. As a very like, I think if you took these things and put them together, you would make this game, and it's a good idea. So I would take the animation and like the technology from like Ratchet and Clank, which is a really cool game. Those were some of my favorite console games. You took like the world of Firefly. It's like very Firefly-ish. It's got that kind of. It's not really steampunk or anything. It's more like Western punk or something. Western tech punk. It's its own kind of. Genre, or it's just really cool. So it's very cartoony, because Ratchet and Clank is extremely cartoony. So when I first saw some screenshots, I'm like, that looks really juvenile, and I definitely judged it by its cover, because when I looked into it more, the combat looks really cool. And essentially what they've done is, I don't know if you've ever played Terra, but Terra has. It's not my favorite combat system, but it's very satisfying, and it can be challenging, and it's really cool. So, I mean, what they've done is, instead of tab targeting and stuff like that, you're actually like, it's an action-oriented game. Kind of like, what's it called? I don't know, DC Universe, where you're aiming and pointing and stuff. Yeah, you run around, and you know, I think you can toggle tab targeting off, so you don't have to tab target, but a lot of the stuff is like, you'll attack in like a cone, and I mean, even if you're tabbed on, tabbed on that target, if you're not hitting them with that cone area, then you're not hitting them at all. So you have to be very aware of what your attacks are doing, and they have these things called telegraphs that essentially show you exactly what your attacks are doing, what area of effect they're going to have. I mean, you've seen a little bit of that in World of Warcraft, where, like, you know, if you're doing an AoE on the ground, you can see a big circle of where your AoE is going to be. It's kind of like that. The bad guys do it too. So, like, every bad guy or every mob or boss or whatever, they're going to have the red telegraph. So, like, your telegraphs are obviously going to be green, and the bad guys are going to be red, so you know the difference between the two. And the cool thing is like, it makes it sound like it would be a lot easier. You're like, oh, if I know what all these guys are going to be doing, why wouldn't, like, well, how is that hard? Like, that's so not challenging. But I think what they did is, like, because they show you what these mobs are going to be doing ahead of time, and they give you the chance to move out, like, if you don't move out, they, like, knock you down, you're pretty much screwed. Like, it sounds really cool. And I think they just make them a lot more involved. So the combat seems, I've seen a lot of videos on it, because I'm a freaking nerd, and the combat seems really, really kind of proactive. Like, you don't sit there and you like hit 1, 2, 3, 4 the same thing over and over again. You probably shouldn't really even be looking at your interface too much, maybe except for debuffs or something like that. But like Terra, you're like focusing on the battleground and what you're doing, what the other guys are doing, and not at like your bars or whatever. So I'm really happy about that as far as combat goes. And the other thing, so just to start from the beginning, I mean, they have these two factions, and I really like the two faction kind of ideas. You know, it's a simple way of starting an MMO, but it's always worked. The thing with Guild Wars, I think, is that there's no factions really, like as far as competing against each other goes. So it's just servers. So like you've got your same, you know, everyone has the same race that's, you know, available to everybody, you know, it gives you less of a feel of like, you're not as patriotic about your own faction. And that's something I really liked about World of Warcraft, is like, I was a Horde for a long time. I was like for the Horde, and I hated the Alliance so much. Like, I wasn't like, you know, angry at them or anything, but I just like, I loved just going like, oh, those guys think they're so self-righteous, but they're just jerks. You know what I mean? So, and they think the same thing about the Horde. And it's just, it gives you that really cool feel of, being very competitive, and you want to do better than that other faction, and you're very, you know, like you're very patriotic about your faction, and it just makes you, you know, makes you proud when you do something before they do, or vice, you know, or angry when they do something, and you want to go like, you know, do better than them, or it's just, it gives like a really cool sense of community. It can also be, you know, destroy your community if you don't do it right, because people can get really angry, which they do, and that's just what happens sometimes. But you know, they do have two factions, but apparently there's no world PvP, and I know that could turn you off of a game like this, but I will get to the PvP in the future, and I promise you that you will be impressed, because I am really impressed with what they have planned for this. So the two factions, there's the Exiles, which are kind of like the Browncoats from Firefly. They're like kind of the underdogs. They're refugees, scrappy. They're just kind of like, you know, they're just kind of like, they're not dirty, but they're just like, you know, they don't really have a home, because like these Dominion guys, which is the other faction, keep like taking over other planets and just think that they own everything, which, you know, they feel like they're self-entitled to, which they think that this very ancient race of aliens called the Eldon, yeah, the Eldon, which are like, the way that they describe them remind me of the Protheans. Now I have a smudge on my glasses and it's driving me crazy. I'll take my glasses off. So they remind me of the Protheans. So like the Protheans like disappeared, they made all this technology, and then they just kind of like buggered off, and you're like, where did they go? So that's kind of like what the Eldon are like. So these exiles go to this planet after getting their home planet destroyed or taken over by the Dominion. And, you know, they're trying to find refuge on this planet called Nexus, and that's where the whole game takes place, and that's where the Eldon originally created all their technology there. And they're not there anymore, they don't know what happened, and that's like the whole story that you actually start when you get to Cap, not like all the way through leveling. You start that story when you're at Cap. So first of all, they're like, let's give them a bunch of cool stuff to do while you're leveling, but let's get them the actual story once you get to the high level. So, you know, there's some stuff to do then, too, because that's one of the problems I have with MMOs. I'm kind of squinty now that I took my glasses off. I can't see without my glasses. That's one of the things about some other games that I've played is, like, you know, it's great to level. Well, not for some people. I'm really good at I love leveling. It's my favorite. I don't know why. I'm weird. But once you get to the Cap, you're just like, well, I could either PvP or I could raid, but I like doing dungeons and other kind of, you know, looking at stories and stuff like that. I don't know. Exploring, and that's actually another thing I'm going to touch on. So I've tried to do one of these vlogs. I know it's going to be long because, like, I try to do this in 5 minutes. It doesn't work. I'm so squinty right now. I got to put my glasses back on. I'm going to have to just deal with this smudge. I don't think I have anything that I can do that gets rid of it. Anyway, so where was I? Okay, so the Exiles went to the Nexus and the Dominion chased after them because they were like, well, that's our planet too, because they're all self-righteous and think that they own everything, and they think that Eldon said that they could. I don't believe it. I think they actually just think that, or they say it, or tell everybody else that, but I don't think it's true. That's just my own theory. It could be completely wrong, but they're definitely very self-righteous. So they each have, so far, 3 factions. There's actually one faction there's 2 factions and 3 races in each of those factions. There's one missing race in each of those factions. It could be like one combined race. It could be a completely different race on each side. They just haven't, because they're fairly good at marketing so far, they haven't told you what they are, and it makes you really curious as to what they're going to be. So, you know, for the Exiles, there's the Makari, who are essentially made by the Eldon, and they're like these really cool robots, like super, like super agents and stuff like that, and they're like the thing about them is like they don't have any sense of humor, so you know, everything they do is like super serious and everything like that, and I really like them. You don't get robot races very often in any kind of MMO, so I'm really curious to see what they're like. And this is one of those games where I'm like, I don't know which faction I like better, because usually I go for the baddies, the bad guys. They're more always, I feel like they're always more interesting. Good guys are always so frou-frou for me, and I just not, you know, I don't really care, you know, about being the good guy. I just do. And, but yeah, even the Exiles, because you're kind of like the Firefly brown coats, they're a lot more scrappy and just kind of more rugged. And so I'm still talking about the I believe the Dominion. So they had the Makari, which are the robots. They have the Cassians, which are like they're essentially humans, but I'm pretty sure they come from a different planet, and they call themselves Cassians, and they probably would never call themselves humans because they're obviously better than humans, because that's what they think. Anyway, I really like them, and they're the guys who are like running the whole show on the Dominion side. So they're, you know, very pure. I'm assuming they're very Puritan as far as their race goes, and they're really interesting too. And then there are the Draken, which are kind of more of a feral dragon race, like they're dragon people. So you know, they're very tribal. From what I've seen, they're all about like blood for the blood god and stuff like that. I know that's not essentially what they say, but that's you get the idea. So they're all very like, you know, we're warriors, and they're a lot more gritty. and again, tribal and feral, and essentially, from what I understand, the Cassians. Are you getting into this yet? Because I am. I'm not going to stop. You can stop it if you want. The Cassians, from what I understand, like their leader beat the leader of the Draken, and so the Draken had to swear like eternal. I don't know, like they had to be on their side. I can't talk properly because I'm excited and it's time to go back from lunch soon. No, I've got lots of time. Okay, sweet. I got like more than half an hour, you guys. This is gonna be a great vlog. Anyway, so there's those 3 factions on each side, and then on the Exiles side, there's humans. I usually don't even go for humans because I think they're really boring, but they seem actually really cool in this game. They remind me. Like, there's like a Meet the Exiles video that explains, one of this chick is like narrating it, and she's explaining what's going on. I am on lunch, excuse me, rude. I put everything when I'm at work. I put on my chat, I put in the other chat, I'm on lunch, and then people still want to call me for some reason because I'm super popular at work. People just want to talk to me, I guess. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna turn that down. There we go. Okay, anyway, so I'm on lunch. I should probably stop getting phone calls because I still have a half hour to go. That's not very nice. So the other races, I'm still going through the races. I still have so much stuff to talk about. Just because I want to talk about it, you don't have to listen. I just got to get it out. It's like a vlog. It's like when people need to talk about their feelings and they're just like, oh, I need to tell everybody what's going on with myself. I don't care about my feelings. I gotta talk about video games. That's just how I work. So, and everyone else needs to like what I like. Otherwise, I'm gonna get mad at them. I'm just kidding. I don't care whatsoever. Obviously, don't care what people think about the games that I like. But if you do like the games I like talking about it. So you're more than welcome to, say whatever you want about them in the comments. If I get anything wrong, like tell me, because I don't really know what I'm talking about. I just go on a tangent. But I have watched a lot and read a lot. So the other classes for the Exiles are, so we got humans, we got Granok, and Granok are like these like boulder people. They're kind of like, now I'm getting chats. I understand. Go just take a message. I'm on my lunch. Just give you, I think that's one of the reasons I'm getting a bit of anxiety lately is just because like I don't get a break. I am going on holiday soon though, and I'll tell you guys about that later. Okay, Granok. They're these mercenary race, and they're all made of rocks, and they're apparently not very smart. So like, the Makari aren't very humorous. The Granok aren't very smart. They're just like all about shooting first and asking questions later and stuff like that. So they seem really funny, and the whole game seems to have a great sense of humor. And then the Aran, and the Aran, they're pretty adorable. There's like these little, apparently they're scrappy because that's just like their name for them is, they don't want to be all cute and fluffy. They're scrappy. So they're kind of like cute and fluffy race. They are like people, but they've got like these ears and tails and stuff like that if you're into that kind of stuff. And they actually make that joke in the actual video too. They're like, they got ears and tails, and some people are into that, which is kind of weird or something. But anyway, so, there's a lot of, I guess, discussion as to whether they're actually furries or not. I have no idea. I don't give a shit, but they seem pretty cool to me. They're all about like the forest and keeping things all, nice and clean in the forest and everything like that. So I always respect those kind of races. I know it seems super frou-frou, which is kind of funny because I said that I didn't like really nice fancy races like that, but the fact that they're kind of scrappy and they're almost like little Wolverines or something. Like they're like, don't touch me. You know what I mean? Like they'll scratch you or something like that. So I kind of like that they put that extra twist on them, and they're not just super fluffy and nice. They're actually kind of, they can hold their own. And so there's classes, and I think there's 2 classes that are missing so far, so they haven't told you. There are always these little mystery bits that they're not going to tell you everything yet, which I really like because the sense of mystery just keeps me holding on and always want to learn more about them. So there's a general warrior class. You can either be DPS or tank or support or whatever. The stalker class is like the general rogue. You're stealthy. Apparently they can tank too, which I think is really cool. Evasion tanking just sounds like you should be able to do it. I mean, there shouldn't be anything wrong as long as you have a lot of dodge or parry or whatever. You should be able to tank, and it just adds an extra twist. Like, not only warriors and plates should be able to tank, like if you want to be a stalker, like a little rogue or something, and you've got a lot of evasion, then yeah, I think you should be able to tank. It's fine. And there's an Esper, which is kind of the mage class or mage priest class. It's a lot of, it reminds me a little bit of a Mesmer from World of Warcraft. From Guild Wars 2, sorry. Anyway, so many MMOs just swimming in my brain. So they do a lot of, what's it called? Just a lot of spells, like ranged spells, and apparently they do a lot of healing too if you want them to heal. I'm always, up for healing. I really enjoy healing. As long as I have, competent people to heal, then I'm happy. Look, this vlog's 20 minutes and I'm like halfway through the stuff that I'm talking about. So again, don't have to stick around. This is all I'm talking about this vlog, so I need to get it out. I've tried this so many times, and I'm like, oh, this vlog's too long. No one wants to talk about it or wants to listen to me. But I have actually got a couple messages from you guys saying, like, just upload something. Like, I don't care what it is. And it makes me feel really bad, because I'm like, I don't upload things, so I don't think anyone wants to hear what I have to say because it's either boring or stupid or, I look gross or something. So, I mean, the fact that someone went out of their way to just message me and tell me that you want to hear what I have to say regardless of what it is, makes me really happy. Like, it makes me feel really guilty, too, that I haven't done it. So, I'm going to make more of an effort, I promise. So, back into the classes, one more class. It's called the Spell Slinger, and it's like a ranged pistol class. You get dual pistols, and instead of just bullets, you get like magic. And so there's a lot of teleporting around. There's a lot of like, they look like they hit pretty hard. They're like a mage class, but they use pistols instead of actual spells. But the pistols like amplify your spells or something, and it looks really, really cool. And then the other thing that like really stands out for me is not just these there's two other classes there that I don't know what they are just yet. I've heard that there's like one shaman class, and I really like that idea. I don't really like World of Warcraft shamans, but I just like the shaman idea in general. So hopefully they come up with something. I'm always into the whole nature spell kind of thing. Like, I'm a druid, in World of Warcraft. Every time I try to roll something else, I always go back to a druid. I have to. Like, all those pretty shiny, like flowery spells, I'm totally down with. Totally don't like frou things though. I don't know. I can do what I want, you guys. Anyway, so there's these things called paths, and the cool thing about that is they're not classes, they're like your play style. So not only are they like, okay, well, you can pick a race, you can pick a class, but they want you to like pick the kind of play style that you generally go forward or towards when you're playing an MMO. So one of the things like about Terra I didn't like is like the combat was pretty cool, but like the world was just so linear, like so ridiculously linear. It looked big and it looked beautiful, but it wasn't really. It was like if you took all those textures away and stuff like that, it would just be like a box, and it was so bad. Everything was just so chunky. You stood on a rock and it would like look like a rock, but when you stood on it, you'd be like maybe like lifted above it because you're actually standing on the platform above it, and the rock looks like it's down here, and it's because everything's like a block. Like, it's just the way that everything was made there is kind of sloppy. So it made me so sad. I was like, oh, I want to go climb that tree, and you get there and like it was just like a cardboard scenery kind of thing, and it pissed me off a lot because when I look at a map, I want to go touch things. I want to just go like climb that. I want to look at it. I want to stand on the top of it. Guild Wars 2 is really good for that. They let you climb pretty much everything, and they reward you for it too, and that's what they do here. And it's not just for people like me who like exploring, because the adventurer or the explorer or whatever it's called is one of the paths that you can choose. So when you create your character and your class, you can go, do you want to be a soldier, do you want to be an adventurer, do you want to be a scientist or a settler? And for me, obviously to start with, I would want to be an adventurer because I would just want to go look at all this stuff everywhere. Go everywhere, explore everything, find secrets, and that's what they let you do. They let you give you access to places that other people can't really go to unless they're explorers too, because those other people might be going down a different path, like a soldier. Which essentially is just like, if you're the type of person who's just like, I want to kill things in a billion different ways to make things way more interesting for me, that's what I like doing. They will give you the option to do that. So if you're not the type to go like jump around and climb something and, explore, you don't have to do that, but they will reward you for doing the soldier path for different things. You could even, like, if you came with me and I was an adventurer and you were a soldier, I could bring you into like a cave that no one else would have access to because I'm an adventurer and I can unlock, their secret doors or whatever. And we could go quest in there, and it might give you some more benefits, and you might give me more benefits. So the way it is they just really make everything mesh together. as far as the paths go. The other two paths I haven't talked about a lot about, but it's kind of pretty straightforward. Except for the scientist, I'm not sure. The scientist is really interesting for me. It's like gathering a lot of information about certain things. I don't know if they do any certain crafting, but yeah, a lot of it's like lore gathering, and I'm pretty sure the adventurer and the scientist might work really well together. Because as an adventurer, you're going to go find all these caverns. Maybe there's some crazy technology down there that you can't do anything about, but maybe the scientist can. I don't know. So I'm really excited to like be very proactive and like synergize. That sounds like a business meeting now. And the last one's a settler. So, I mean, I'm just gonna get into this in a bit, but I can't get into this. There's some crazy customization in this game, like crazy customization. And if you know me, I am such a sucker for customization. Like when I get like in Guild Wars or any other game, I know I'm still getting messages. I gotta just get out of here. Turn off all my shit and people stop talking to me maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so essentially like if I get into a game and they like the customization for their face, like Saints Row 3 and stuff like that, like I will spend hours going like it has to be perfect. I love it. Like it's just it's weird. Like I could spend money on a game to do that. That's why I love The Sims. Like I don't even play The Sims. I just make the houses and make people like custom and get their clothes and stuff like that. Like it's almost like paper dolls or you know what I mean? Like you just switch their clothes around. It's so weird. Like I love dinosaurs. I love a lot of guy stuff, but I also love just customizing things and decorating them and stuff. It's really weird. Anyway, so the settler, which is another path aside from the soldier, adventurer, and scientists, essentially, apparently, what they do is they go to like quest hubs and they improve them, and they're all about the social aspect of everything. So maybe, like, we don't know much about them just yet, but you've seen little, clips of them improving a quest hub and building more, maybe making it more of a fortress than it is like a little camp or something. I don't know, but that sounds really cool to me. So I think that they really improve the area around you, and it really gives them a feeling of contributing to that area, which is one thing in MMOs that like really pisses me off. Like phasing is pretty cool because when you do a quest and then it actually changes the world around you, like that's really satisfying because you're like, I totally made this change. I made a big difference in this world. It's just an illusion, but it makes you feel better about it. It's really sucky when you go and they're like, go and like save this guy from this huge monster, and you go do it, and then like 2 seconds later it's like he's back there with the monster again. You're like, I just saved you. Why are you there again? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So it's really frustrating for me. That's why I like the idea of the phasing. And I know that they have a lot of that in this game. And apparently, the phasing will even affect terraforming. So, like, I don't know, like, for an example, this isn't an example I got from anybody, but, like, if a meteor falls down into the ground after doing a quest, like, it'll be there after that. Or, like, maybe they'll go, let's go plant a tree in that meteor. And like, what if this is actually a real thing? And they're like, how did she know that they can really do that? I don't know. Maybe they plant a tree in the meteor and then like, fixes everything or changes that forever for you. And maybe no one else will see it that way. So I don't know. Excited to see what their phasing is like, but they seem to have a good idea of how that works, and that's really satisfying. 30 minutes in. Probably 3/4 of the way through. Not even. I don't think so. Like, this is how excited I am. This is gonna be a long vlog. I don't care. I'm not gonna delete it. As long as I don't run out of space on my friggin' phone. We don't want to do that. The questing. I like questing. I've always liked questing. Even if it's kind of boring, I still enjoy it. I like the progression. I like exploring. I mean, you do a lot of that while you're questing. If the game provides it, of course. If it doesn't, then I hate it. Or if I'm playing with someone else, then it's okay. But if I'm by myself, which I do like playing by myself in an MMO, I like to make sure that I have something else to do other than hitting 1, 2, 3, 4. And they'll give you that here. So what they'll do is, okay, maybe go kill those 10 pigs over there, which essentially is like one of the most base quests that anyone can ever give you. But they're like, once you get there, apparently what happens is you kill maybe a couple pigs, and then maybe like another guy will come in and go, can you kill those like a lot faster? And I'll give you like, double the gold. And don't get hit by any of them. Like if you don't stand in that telegraph I was talking before, you get benefits. Like you can stand in the shit that they do, and you can get hit. You won't really get punished other than you're going to get hit harder. You probably might die, but you're not supposed to do that in MMOs anyway. But if you dodge everything and you do everything a lot more classier and a lot more smoother, they're gonna like give you way more rewards. And I love that. I love that. They're not punishing you for not doing it, but they're rewarding you. It doesn't look like I have a mullet. I'm serious. These are just pigtails, I promise. Look, pigtail, not a mullet. Just looks like I have one. Why not? Totally pull off a mullet if I wanted to. Talk about going off the rails. So yeah, so anyway, so what they're gonna do is, you know, once you start one quest, they're gonna kind of give you a whole bunch of shit to do while you're doing that quest, and the more you do on top of all that stuff, like within a time limit, or you know, kill them near a certain explosive or just anything, they will give you way more like benefits and rewards for doing it that way. You don't have to do it. They will not force you to do it that way, but they will give you challenges. So for the people who are all about like, you know, going in there and just being super proactive and, you know, doing as much as they can and getting a challenge, they will give you that challenge. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to do it. It's really cool. I love that idea. So the other thing that I really, really like in a lot of MMOs that are coming out recently are the solo adventures, the solo instancing. So the thing with Guild Wars 2 is they give you this whole story that you can follow. I think you choose a couple settings ahead of time when you make your character, and that'll affect your story. But what'll happen is, you know, you can bring a friend if you want, but you know, it is solo. So you could go into this little instance and, you know, kill a bunch of guys or learn more about the story. And one thing that I mean, it means that you don't have to rely on other people, which, you know, it'd be nice because it's actually kind of hard in that game. But if you bring a friend along, that's great. If you don't, I mean, you still get something to do while you're questing. It's kind of just an extra layer of the quests on top, and you learn more about the world and everything like that. But my favorite thing about it is that it forces you, if you do it by yourself, it forces you to learn the game. That's one of the things about, say, take World of Warcraft, for example. You can bring a high level into the dungeon with you. They can do everything and you get all the benefits from it. And I mean, the thing about that is just, you don't learn anything. You don't learn how to play the game. And I mean, I know that there's they kind of nerfed. I don't know if you know what nerfed means, but basically that doesn't work as much anymore, but you can still do that for certain things, have just someone just carry you along. I prefer people having to learn how to play the game, so when you're playing with them, they're reliable, and also for me, like, I want to know that I play the game well. If I'm forced to kind of, you know, use my own resources, then, I mean, I gotta learn what to do and how to take care of myself. I can't just rely on someone else to just heal me through everything or whatever. So I really like that idea. A lot of games are doing it lately, and you know, I respect that. So apparently they are going to have the looking for group, like, dungeon finder thing in game, which honestly is really good. It's kind of controversial, but I mean, it did ruin a lot of things, like the social aspect. Everyone just goes in, doesn't say shit. I always try to talk to people. I'm like, hey, how's everybody going? But you know, I'm the healer. I just sit back, I put my hots on everybody, and then, like, if shit goes down, I'll stop talking. Like, I don't talk too much, but I try to say hello at least, because no one says anything, like, in dungeon groups when they do the dungeon finder. Like, back in my day, you used to have to like sit by the summoning stone and like just spam, like, you know, chat, going, does anyone else want to help us with this? It'd be great. And then you might be there for like half an hour waiting for a tank or something, and then they would come along and just hope to God that the tank's going to stick around for the entire instance. Now you just wait in queue, do whatever you're doing, and then you can just automatically teleport there, automatically teleport out when you're done. Like, it's so easy. And you know what? I gotta say, I like it. And even though it takes away the social aspect, maybe it will in this game, I don't know, but it really does help with just getting those dungeons done a lot faster. And it's a convenience thing, so you don't have to use it, but I gotta say, I used to not like it because I was like, it took away this just element of the game that, you know, when you did get together and you did find someone you really like to play with, you would put them on your friend list and you play with them for the rest of the game. Like, you know that they're, like, you know, a good player, but you can't really do that anymore because they're from different servers and stuff like that. So anyway, the cool thing is like, they will have the 5-man dungeons, which I always love. Like, I'm all about dungeons. But they're also going to have like hardcore rating. So not only 25-man dungeons, which maybe are good for, maybe they have 10-man dungeons too, I'm not sure. But definitely 25-man dungeons. And then they're actually going to bring back the 40-man dungeons. And that's for, like, the people. And the cool thing, I really like how they said this. Like, I know that we're wasting, like they actually said something like, I know that it's a lot of money, like they're almost wasting money, or they could be wasting money on the 40-man dungeons because it's a lot of content, but they want to give that like 1% of really hardcore players just a challenge, because that's not around much anymore. Like there's the 25 man in World of Warcraft is the hardcore. Don't think they have 40 mans anymore. They want that like 40-man group, those big guilds who just want to synergize. I love using the word synergize whenever I can. People hate me. To get together and do that. So how's the 35 minutes going? I hope it's good. I hope I'm not going to get cut off soon. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not super, like myself, I'm not super into the whole 40 man, but I really respect the fact that they want to give the people who are into that kind of raiding, like, what they deserve. So someone who puts that much effort into getting a raid done like that, like, deserves to just have like the best gear ever. I mean, it's a lot of work to do, and I think what they've said is, I mean, they really want to give a lot of people really cool gear for doing better, and again, they don't want to punish the people who didn't do very good, but they also want to like really reward the people who put the effort and the time and the skill into it. So I gotta respect that too. A couple more things. I could speak another like 30 minutes about this, but I'm probably running out of time on my phone. So the housing, I don't know if you've ever heard of housing, but that's like one of the new videos that came out. It's like, in The Sims when you get to customize your house, like it's like 10 times that. It's way better. You can just like toggle things, make things bigger, smaller, put them anywhere. It looks really cool. I suggest looking at the video. I'll try to remember to put it in the description, so if you have a chance, go take a look at it. It's a really good video, and I'm absolutely crazy about customization. So they're going to give you a little war plot or a little like house plot to put on. Maybe it'll start with a little camp. You got to clear it out, because maybe it's not just a clear out field. You have to probably kill some stuff to get your shit together. And I think that's pretty funny. They put a lot of just little things in there that just kind of make everything a little bit more fun. Totally can't wait to play this game. Hopefully it's as good as I thought, because like I said the same thing about Guild Wars, and I still do love Guild Wars, but it doesn't even seem to like touch on the amount of content that's in Wildstar right now. Yeah, you can improve your house as you go. You get like, all sorts of furniture and stuff as you progress, and they'll drop off stuff, or you can craft stuff apparently. So I'm really, really interested in seeing like what I can make. And apparently they give you one house per, not account, but per character. So I mean, like if you got a type of character that should be all like, techie, like you can make your house all techie. If it's going to be like one of those little Oran forest people, then you can make your house all pretty and flowery and foresty. So I mean, yeah. Not only a house, but you get a whole plot. So, I mean, if you don't want to, go into town or whatever and use one of those crafting tables, you can make your own and just do that. So everything, it's like those addicting, like, app games where you're, like, building your little city and stuff, and, everything progresses more and more and more. It's like that. So, I can see where that's really going to make people invest in the game, and even if... like at some point they run out of content for like a couple weeks or something, like you still want to go back to your house and make sure everything's running okay, because like your garden's still growing and all that kind of stuff. You can even get your friends to come over and help you out, and like if you're away or whatever. I can't even get into how much amazingness is involved in this housing. There's also something called the war plots, which are essentially like the same technology as the housing, but it's not just for you, it's like for your whole guild. So like you'll have a war plot at high level, and it's like your guild, and it's like hardcore PvP. Like you have this fortress, you want to like make it, turrets and towers, and apparently you can even get raid bosses in there and like put that, like, I don't know. It sounds really cool. And so you essentially can battle other war plots, and maybe people will try to raid your war plot, and like if you don't strategize properly, like they can take all your shit, is what I hear, and they'll get lots of points for it. So, it's big time, big time. You got to put a lot of money into it, but apparently it's super worth it. So that's for the people who are really into, like, it's almost like PvP raiding. Like, there's arenas that's kind of like the high top in World of Warcraft. That's like kind of like the high PvP option you have. Like this is even like, it's like raiding PvP, because you're playing other players, you're busting into their fortresses, taking down their shit, and like, hopefully hopefully winning. So yeah, I think it's a really cool idea. I I don't know if I've ever seen that before. There's been some other stuff, but not to that extent. Like, I think in Outlawed Online, there's like these airships that you can fight each other, but like you're not customizing them really yourself. You're just get what you get. And we'll see. And I think there's battlegrounds and stuff like that too. I like battlegrounds. Excuse me. So, I'm pretty much done. It's like, what, a 40-minute video? You guys stuck through the whole thing? I can't believe it. Or did you skip it? Did you skip a lot of stuff? That's okay, I don't blame you. Anyway, yeah, I haven't done a vlog in a while. I wanted to make up to you because I told you that I was going to do a really long vlog a long time ago. I deleted several, and this is the one that I'm going to be uploading. So, anyway, you guys have a good one, and hopefully once I get my shit together, we'll actually get a gameplay video out. There's some games I actually do want to play that are coming up. AKA Laura Croft. Anyway, you take care. Bye.